Welcome to Detangle, where we untangle the complexities of life one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Dr. Kinjal Goel, a psychologist and a writer. We have with us today Pooja Makhija, a nutritionist, author, and a mother to two wonderful children. Nutritionist to stars like Deepika Padukone, Karan Johar, Ranbir Kapoor, Shahid Kapoor, etc., functional and lifestyle practitioner, and a TEDx speaker, Pooja Makhija has transformed the bodies and the lives of tens of thousands of people to date. She has had her own TV show on the Food channel, her own radio show on Magic FM, and has a regular column in the Times of India. Pooja's best selling book, Eat Delete, has changed the way I look at food and nutrition. As a psychologist, I'm deeply intrigued by the way our moods affect our foods and vice versa. Welcome to Detangle, Pooja, and thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
The pleasure is all mine, Dr. Kinjal.
Well, let's get started, Pooja. There's so many things I want to know from you. There are so many questions I have in my mind personally. Let's just start and let's see where these questions take us.
Done. Let's go.
So tell me, how did this field attract you? Were you always interested in food and nutrition as a child, or was it something that came your way in your adult years?
Um, so quite clearly, now that I'm a mom, I like to say this more definitively. But my mom saw the nutritionist in me, and she was like, it actually started very, very crudely over a dinner table conversation where, like every teenager, I was uncertain of what I need to do. And my mom was like, full day you ask me questions of who told you milk has calcium or a banana has potassium and who told you. And of course, back then, we didn't have Google. So whatever mama said was the word. But I always questioned mama of how she knew things. And she said, these questions show that your interest lies there, and that's about it. And then there was really no turning back. She navigated the course of who and how Pooja Makhija came into being.
Wow, so we owe her a very big note of gratitude for giving us a nutritionist of your caliber.
Yes, very much. I know this may sound like I'm really trying to be cliche, but other than my mum, it was also my mum-in-law who actually fought tooth and nail with the rest of the family that I will be allowed to work.
Oh, wow.
We come from a very conservative Sindhi family, and my father-in-law did not believe in women of the house actually needing to work because it wasn't done before.
Right.
And but my mum-in-law said, "I'm sorry, but this daughter of mine is very educated and I will not let her education go to waste. So she is going to go out." And my first pay was 100 rupees a day, I remember. And my father-in-law said, "I will triple it. Don't go."
Wow.
And my mom-in-law said, "I'm sorry, let her be paid that, but she's going to go." So yes, I owe who I am very much to both my moms.
More power to women like this in our lives then.
Yes, yes.
Let's address the elephant in the room first, mental health and food. So, although all aspects of our lives impact our mental well being, our food and nutrition have one of the largest and most long lasting impact on our mood. So, Pooja, how does this come into play when you practice?
Food is related to mood, and mood is actually related to food, is because we've actually given food um, so much more importance than its actual reason for being. Food for us is about just about everything. I don't know whether social media has done it, or over the years ads have done it, or over the years our socializing has done it, but everything today revolves around food. You want to connect with family, it's over a lunch. You want to meet colleagues, it's over drinks. You want to celebrate, it's over food. You want to mourn, it's with food. So everything has somehow been connected to food. I don't know where and how and through when that became such an important part. But sadly, all these connects are not, is taking away the real highlight from actually what food is. And food is just fuel for our body, something that needs to be given to our body with thought. But today, we eat food for all other reasons and for all other beings, but the fact that we have to give a little bit of thought before what we're putting into our tummies. Food is more for taste, more to give company, and more because it's there than uh, than anything that this is what is going to be giving me the life the mood, the hair, the skin, the bones, everything. Literally, you become what you eat. Every cell in your body has a turnaround period, right? So, literally, what you eat is who you become, including your liver and your skin and your hair and your nails and your memory. But who believes that food becomes that? For us, food is more about everything else. So either there's that much love for food, or then sadly, there's that much fear of food. So where food is also love and joy, food is also calories and fat. So either so that this love-hate relationship is where we've actually gone wrong when you are emotionally connecting over food.
So tell me, coming to this love hate relationship, do you believe that social media, let's say Instagram, which is flooded with information, misinformation, advice, recipes, nowadays there are even outright threats about food. So is this helping or harming the audience?
See, what we must remember is that the environment in which we live has an invisible hand over our behavior. Okay, we may not really realize this, but in particular environments we behave particularly, right? For example, the minute I'm in a church or in a temple, I'm going to whisper, right?
Right.
I'm not going to be yelling or screaming loudly. Or if I'm on a dark street where I'm walking and I'm alone, automatically I will have a way of becoming wary and guarded. Okay, so environment really plays an important role. But today our environment is like inundated with food all around. There is just so much information,
Hmm.
but sadly, there's really no knowledge. And we really don't know how to cut through this noise, because everyone wants to give us their expert opinion. But how are they the expert? Who made them the authority? And why should we believe them? Are questions we have to first ask ourselves. But today, as humans, we just think that anything that is different, anything that I haven't heard before,
Hmm.
anything that is new, this must work. Because ये तो पहले नहीं सुना है मैंने. So if I am going to tell people that food and nutrition has to be back to basics, but as simple, just exactly how our grandparents ate, they don't think that's worthy enough of knowledge to be having paid me the fees for a consult.
Not
But if I,
exciting enough, not
yeah,
sensational enough.
because it wasn't anything different. But if I tell people, oh, wake up at 4 a.m. and go to the Himalayas, pluck a purple leaf and eat it from your left palate and don't chew it from your right tooth, and inhale it from your nose and don't if I give them different advice, it'll be like, yeah, now that was worthy of me paying her the bucks, because
Hmm.
I heard something different. So sadly, just like we love variety in our dressing and our in our styles or in our food, we also want variety in the information or knowledge that people are providing to us. Okay, so to say that you have to go back to basics, so it's very strange. But for most problems that my daughter would come to me, I will ask her three or four questions, and she's like, Mama, everything doesn't have to revolve around did I drink enough water, or did I poop today, or have I slept well, or did I eat my eggs today? She's like, Mama, I'm telling you, I have period cramps. Like, there are other reasons. But if you go back to basics and clear out the roots of good nutrition, all these problems are signals that our body gives us. These are just beep, beep, beeps. We
Right.
listen to the beeps of our phone. Even when I'm in deep conversation with you, if I get a particular alert, I will know whether that was a WhatsApp or an email or a message from my daughter, because we are so synced with our phones. But we have forgotten the connection with our body and the beeps that our body gives us. So we are not listening to our body. Our body will give us signs of low water, low sleep, low fiber. But those are not the signs we listen to. But when this beep, beep, beep is ignored, then there's a blare and an alarm, and then there's a chronic problem. And then we need a specialist, whether it's a gastroenterologist or a diabetologist or a cardiologist or a nutritionist. And then we pay her to listen to ourselves. So I just feel that that's where we have just got lost uh, in this rat race of listening to everyone but ourselves.
I think this is the most beautiful way somebody has simplified nutrition, even for me. I mean, the way you have put it, it's not just visual, I can hear it. So it's like this oral sense that you've given me, that there are literally these small signs, the tiniest signs that our body is constantly giving us. I'm going to keep this one with me.
Yeah, strangely, they say that, see, we are creatures that are stimulated by our sensory organs, right? We
Right.
have touch, smell, hearing, vision, okay,
Hmm.
sound. But the most powerful of this sensory stimulation is our vision. Okay.
Right.
I read somewhere that we have about 11 million sensory receptors, of which approximately 10 million of them are dedicated to sight.
Hmm.
Okay. And in today's world of constant social media scrolling,
And
what are we?
overstimulation.
Yeah. Imagine, it is said that literally 50% of the brain's resources are dedicated to vision. और हम उसको burn कर रहे हैं literally, because we are constantly looking. we are trying to we are trying to we are just overstimulating ourselves with, it's literally bombardment from everywhere. Like, open your WhatsApp, people are giving you information. Open your Instagram, people are trying to teach you something. Literally, my mom will send me a forward of a reel of someone saying about something about nutrition, and she'll be like, Mama, beta, I think you should watch this. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there is so much stimulation that it is now becoming, I feel like we just need to close our eyes and see ourselves. See, like, close your eyes and listen to your stomach, listen to your tongue and your taste and your body, and we will really get all the answers, because nobody in this world, no doctor, no nutritionist, no dermatologist, no doctor in this world knows you better than you. But we have just devalued how much we know ourselves, because we're not listening to ourselves, we're listening to everybody else. You told me use this cream, I'll try it. You told me eat this pista and peel it this way and soak it this way and cut it this way, I will listen to you. But what if it just doesn't suit me? I'm not listening to me.
Lovely. I think this is very important. So tell me, you see a lot of things on social media, like you said, you're a nutritionist yourself. What is that one myth that drives you completely nuts? Something which is so obviously wrong and it keeps circulating and it keeps coming back.
I think for all those who know me know that I'm a extremely pro activator promoting carbs.
Hmm.
And I just feel that carbs have been represented by such poor lawyers in the world that even to begin with, they lost the case before any trial. And till date, people ridicule carbs to a value of, it spikes your insulin, it gives you diabetes, it makes you fat, it keeps increases your fat deposition. Carbs are your energy givers. We all need energy. So
Hmm.
I think the one thing that really annoys me about food and nutrition, or myths about it, is the fact that we have painted them as such targeted enemies, that we are losing our sense of eating, losing the sense of how our plate should look. Carbs are not the enemy here. So most nutrition is about omissions. This is not good for you, this is not good for you, this is not good for you after 12 a.m, this is not good for you after 1 a.m, this is not good for you after midnight, this is not eliminate this, don't do this, eliminate, don't eat this, eat this. Everything is about don't. What we have to realize is that no food is bad for you. I'm going to say that again.
Hmm.
Absolutely no food is bad for you. It is how we cook this food, it is how much of the food we eat at one time, and it is with what I eat that food that can make it a good or a bad food. Now, carbs are not the enemy, but how I cook them, how much of it I eat at one time, one sitting, and with what I eat my carbs can make it good or bad for me. Dress up your carbs if you want to have a healthy relationship with them. Make them wear clothes. Naked carbs are the dangerous ones. A plain chutney sandwich, a plain bowl of noodles or pasta, or
Hmm.
even a plain aloo ka paratha. That is where carbs can spike your sugar levels, give you insulin surges, give you insulin resistance, increase your body fat deposition, increase your damages and tendencies towards diabetes or anything. But when the minute you dress up your carbs, make them wear clothes, then no carb is bad for you. Clothes for carbs are fiber and protein. Fiber comes from my vegetables,
Hmm.
and protein comes from my dals, pulses, legumes, from my nuts and seeds, from my chicken, fish, eggs if I'm non-vegetarian. So just dress up your carbs. But remember, dressing happens in a proportion of 1 is to 1 is to 1. I can't say for a bowl of pasta, I will eat 2 broccoli florets and 3 peas and call it clothes. Dress them up in equal proportion, and then don't call any food bad. Carbs are not bad, noodles is not bad. Yes, eat as much of it which is as less processed, because whatever man touches, he only looks at profits in terms of money. So he may really strip off the nutrition, but otherwise carbs are not the enemy here. It's I always believe in intelligent nutrition versus omission or negative nutrition.
This is fantastic. I mean, from this whole oral experience I just had, now I feel like I'm on stage. I'm having this whole theatrical experience where I'm visually able to see my food doing things alone as against, with company or with clothes on. It
Yeah.
just makes so much more sense this way. So let me ask you the next big question, which is everywhere. I think everyone must have asked you this. I'm sure you get a lot of this online also. Supplements are something we all have a love hate relationship with. Some doctors are saying it's a fad. Some say you must take what you need. Some people say just take a multivitamin. What is your take on supplements? And does everybody need something at some point? How do you determine this?
We all need supplements. Firstly,
Hmm.
simple, long answer short. Okay,
Okay.
because sadly, the soil doesn't have the nutrition that it had before.
Hmm.
Okay, um, the vitamin A I got from one carrot in the 1950s. Today, I need 99 such carrots
Oh
to
wow.
get the same vitamin A. Now, this is not something I have come up with. This is a study that has been published, which has checked the vitamin A levels from the 1950 carrots versus today. So now tell me, where is it that I'm going to be able to get that kind of nutrition if I am not going to be able to supplement? Right.
Right.
Cultivable soil is deteriorating day after day by day. Literally
Hmm.
only about, it is now said that only 33% of the world's land on earth is now actually cultivable, so cultivatable. So the idea here is we can't run away from supplements are going to be provide. See, we are food is nutrition. Okay, if you're not going to give, sorry, food is information. Okay, I'm
Hmm.
going to say that again. Food is information. And if my food doesn't have those key nutrients, how do I give my body the information? So
Right.
supplements are and should be essential. Yes, supplements need to be clean. Sadly, there are a lot of supplements in the market that have a lot of fillers, a lot of magnesium stearate, a lot of silicon, which we don't want in our supplements. And to that, I will love to say that one of the best supplements that I have found uh, after a lot of research are
Mhm.
Indian supplements. So we don't really need to run away from, we don't really need to spend dollars and pounds and go all over the world and buy expensive nutraceuticals from all over the world. India today is really making some of the top line nutraceutical products. So we are fortunate enough to be able to use them. They are using conventional Ayurvedic knowledge along with extraction of the nutrients in the right way. They are not complicating the supplements with wrong fillers. So I'm very happy, very glad that we have great nutritional supplements in India. And uh, uh, anyone who says that we don't need nutrition supplements, and by anyone I mean doctors, it's clearly because sadly they don't understand nutrition and they don't understand how much of an impact nutrition can have on health and absence of disease. As doctors, they don't really study nutrition as much as they should be actually taught. I'm told it's a one credit in their entire 5 years of basic MBBS. So, really, they don't have the knowledge about the power of nutrition and vitamins, which is why they feel that vitamins are not essential. Of course, this trend is changing. Many doctors today will tell you to take supplements, good quality supplements, and that's where we need us to go because nutrition can really do magic. Our bodies are so deprived today of good quality nutrition that nutraceuticals can actually help us with so many problems, not just our immunity and hair and skin, but also depression and diabetes and blood pressure, because those micronutrients that my body requires, sadly, maybe it's just the soils are so depleted that as hard as even I may try as a nutritionist, I might not be giving my body. So supplements are something that is going to keep this health in our hands and not the doctors.
You know what I'm really enjoying about this conversation is that we have such black and white answers. I mean, so far I've had so many guests who are not willing to take a stand. I enjoy it when somebody takes a stand and says, yes, do this, not that, because. And there's a reason behind it. So I'm glad we're actually being able to talk about so many important things. It's not just children, it's not just adults, it's even geriatrics. I mean, when you talk about old age, can you tell me if a lifetime of bad eating habits can be reversed? I see so many older patients who have lived life in the fast lane, in their 40s and 50s, and they've worked till now. And now they've slowed down in their 70s and realized that they've deprived their bodies of proper nutrition throughout. But can they reverse this damage now at this age?
Yes, my love, very much they can. Very, very much they can. As complicated as some people may think nutrition is, it can be really simplified and it can really help reverse a lot of problems within weeks if
Wow.
done well. Within weeks, we can see improvement in cognition, improvement in motility, improvement in expressions, improvement in blood parameters, literally within weeks of good nutrition, because nutrition is actually that powerful. It can impact your life. Literally, one bad meal can cause that much damage, and one good meal can help you reverse that much better or faster. Statistic rates of Alzheimer's, I don't know if I'm quoting it right, but I think the last I had read was almost 80% Americans over the age of 60 or 80 get Alzheimer's. Now tell me, is that the same rate of statistics we hear in India?
Thankfully
Not
not.
or actually not. Why? Why? Because our eating habits culturally have been so good, especially for our population of 60 and 80 plus today. They
Hmm.
haven't, they didn't fall into the rat race of commercially processed foods, or before the green revolution attacked us and we switched to convenience foods versus real food, cooking at home versus ordering in. So why are those statistics not so bad here? It's just such a simple thing to ponder on.
Hmm.
it,
True.
Alzheimer's is called type 3 diabetes, right? Because it affects our brains in such a, our gut and brain access is so correlated that bad eating habits is the reason for such high rates of Alzheimer's in the West versus not in India. Because everything starts from our gut. 90% of our serotonin is made in our gut. 50% of our dopamine is made in our gut. Give the body the right food, and then see how your body responds to emotional, mental, and physical well-being. So, can few weeks of good nutrition reverse years of bad eating habits? Yes. But if you do it with that conviction, you do it with that consistency. See, most people think they want instant results, right? The world today is
Absolutely.
all about the world
Immediate
today.
gratification. Yeah.
Correct. I have pain. I'll take a painkiller, and in 20 minutes, my pain is gone. Now,
Right.
if I tell someone you have a pain, take magnesium, hydrate, up your protein, it's going to take me at least 2, 3, 4 days to be able to give you some relief. But people don't want that. People don't believe in that. People don't want to go slow. They want tuck. Like I took a pill and I feel no, not ill. Right?
I like the sound of that.
but uh, but if you give nutrition that much strength and patience and consistency, you can reverse every disease with good food and nutrition. Every disease. Some take little longer than others, some take weeks and months and years, some, for example, burps, gas,
Hmm.
constipation, the minor ones can happen in days. The major ones, see, you didn't get diabetes because you ate one bad meal, right?
Right.
It was years of bad eating habit that led to diabetes. I say if you did bad eating habits for 20 years and you got a disease, at least give nutrition 20 weeks to see whether you can reverse it. But people don't have the patience. They
Mhm.
want to see immediate results. I'm going for a wedding. I want to lose the weight. I want to go to Mata. I want to be able to walk, so I need instant pain relief. That doesn't happen with nutrition. But trust me when I say this, nutrition is magic. We just have to believe in that magic.
How lovely. Pooja, I see a lot of this even in teenagers, like we spoke about old age right now. If you see in young teens, young adults, there is body dysmorphia, there are eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia. Do these children come to you, and do you think training all parents of teenagers, or just, blanket training all teenagers in nutrition, will help us somewhere safeguard these kids from facing these problems in the future?
Of course, it will. There's no other way to beat any other society disorders other than education, and that's actually quite the reason why I even wrote my last book, which is called N for Nourish. It
Hmm.
was the first of its kind book in India, which was written. It was a children's read on nutrition. It's not a parental read like Eat Delete Junior, but it's a children's read on nutrition, on how we can teach our children the basics of nutrition from day one. Because today's children are all about DIY. They can
Absolutely.
figure everything out themselves, and mamas actually know nothing, and they know more. So that's why N for Nourish was the tool where it is a 10 plus read, where all parents can give it to their children to say, okay, what happens when you eat too much sugar? What happens when you don't drink enough water? What happens when you cut back on sleep or have a unclean sleep cycle? So that children can read themselves and figure it out, because today's children are really smart. If they have figured out the right and the wrong, they will fix what is they want to fix. They are really intelligent. Today's children are far more intelligent than we were when we were little children. We never thought like they think, and we never could act the way they think. So there's a lot that we can do, but I also feel that there's a lot that puts the pressure on these children today that we didn't have. Our every gathering or party or a graduation ceremony or everything was not posted all over the world on different pages for people to judge, gauge, comment on. So I just feel that the social pressure that they face to look good all the time, to look good, even to go to school, like they have to look perfect even while going to school. I don't even remember. I remember going to school.
All frumpy sometimes.
Yeah, like literally, this girl just rolled down from her bed. Yeah, but I don't think I would say that about my girls. I think they look impeccable any time of the day.
Mm.
Now, um, where does that come from? That comes from a lot of social pressure of, oh, hey, we must look good. But if we use that tool in itself, instead of it being something that pulls us down, if social media is giving them that pressure, I'm using social media to spread the same word, to say that, hey, food is not something you need to be feared about, okay? But if you, like, for example, that's the way I taught my children, that a pizza is not unhealthy and a burger is not unhealthy, so as long as you know how to dress up your carbs. So they went and taught that to all their friends, and that's how we spread the word between them, because they listen to their peers and then they listen to influencers,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. You got that one right. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it's so important for us to choose who influences us. That
yeah,
word by itself is so weighted that we
really.
just take it so lightly that anybody is allowed to influence you now.
I just saw a post recently that said that the RBI is going to regulate um, uh, financial influencers. Okay, you have to have a license to give financial advice. I was like, bravo, take one step, and then maybe someone else will wake up and say, okay, you have to have some knowledge or a certificate or a degree to give nutritional advice.
I'm sure. I'm sure that
I
will
hope.
be in the offing. Yeah.
I
So
hope.
that'll be a good day for all of us. But let me ask you something very personal now, Pooja. We all know what's a physical first aid box, right? Something we keep at home. It has, our band-aids and painkillers and little things that we need for minor cuts and bruises. But supposing you were to keep an emotional first aid box in your house for those days when, emotions haven't been all right and you're feeling a little run down, something which you open and will make you happy personally, what would you put in your box?
It's very strange you ask me this, but I um, I give this example a lot to my clients as well. Is many a time it's not possible that life's not going to have highs and lows. It's not possible that you may not have a bad day or a bad moment or a bad month. Okay, life is such, and today we have to learn how to be. So I'm going to give you guys one more thing that I learned from someone really special, um, who said that life doesn't give us stress,
Hmm.
life gives us pressure. Okay, pressure. My maid didn't come. I don't have enough money. I don't have love, or I don't have a job, or I don't have children. Life gives us pressure. Okay, but we tend to think of pressure as stress. I don't have enough money is not the stress, it's pressure. Stress is equal to pressure over resilience.
Hmm.
Okay,
Well said.
resilience comes from your body, comes from your emotional strength, your mental strength, your physical strength, and how you're giving your body good food, good water, good nutrition, good sleep, good proteins. Once your resilience is stronger, that pushes up the stress and thus reduces the stress. So, if we understand that equation and give our body the resilience to fight back what life is throwing at us, stress becomes less. I know this was not the answer to your toolbox, but I just wanted to put this somewhere,
Yeah,
is
this
that
is beautiful. This
we
is
can fight that pressure with good resilience. But yes, what I would put in my emotional toolbox is, I always say that how we sleep is something that how we're going to wake up next day in the morning. You sleep sad or upset or worked up,
Mhm.
our subconscious mind in those 6, 7, 8 hours is only churning out and going into those negative thoughts and moods. So, one of the best things that I have found, I don't know whether I read this somewhere or someone told me, but I have clung on to 5 very happy moments in my life. 5 moments where literally life was perfect. And every time I have one of those not so happy days, when I put myself to sleep, I will pick one of those 5 happy moments and relive it like I really am in it. What I'm wearing, what were the sounds around me, what was who saying what, the color of the sky, the color of my dress, the emotion I was feeling then, the picture I took then, the laughter I heard then, the capture that happened in my memory. I go back to it in detail and it just puts me in that calm, happy zone where I fall into a happy sleep, hoping to wake up happy the next day morning.
That's the most beautifully sensorial, metaphysical box that I have come across. So I'm going to stay with that one. As we come to a close of this podcast, Pooja, I leave the floor open to you. Is there any question that you would like to ask me as a psychologist?
Yes, I definitely would. I have lots actually, but I'm allowed one, so I'm asking you one. They say that we are born with a certain attitude, frame. I do believe genetics,
Mhm.
a lot in genetics, okay? And they say, oh, you're just like your dad, and your anger is just like your mom. Huh? Uh, Tell me, how much of I believe that I could have the patience of my mom, but the anger of my dad, say for
Mhm.
example. But can how much of psychology and training and um, learning change the inherent value in a person or the inherent trait that I was born with? Can it or can't it?
So, multi layered question with multi layered answers. One of the first things that you are exploring here is the nature nurture theory. What we get from nature, that is genetics, and what we get from nurture, that is from our
Correct.
upbringing and our societal influences. So,
Correct.
definitely, nurture can change what nature has given us in some things. For example, if you are a little less resilient because one of your parents is impatient or impulsive, you can learn to build this resilience. You can learn to be a little more patient. However, there are some disorders, including basic illnesses, generalized anxiety, a tendency towards depression, which can be very strongly genetic. So, if either parent has a diagnosis of a mental health disorder, your chances are that you will be susceptible to it, and awareness is important. So that at the first signs, you can seek professional help. So we are a combination of this nature and nurture. There is so much that we get genetically and so much that we learn as we grow. There are very interesting studies to prove both sides equally. I mean, there are twin studies that have been done to show
Hmm.
that parenting has no effect and whatever you're born with is what you're going to live with. And then there are beautiful studies saying that children brought up in different environments will have different patterns of growth and patterns of development. So the data is still coming in, and I think it's beautiful to just watch our children and see how much of us we see in them, and then realize that, okay, they have this, but they also are overcoming it. I'm sure you see it all the time too.
Yes, I do. I do. It's just that yeah, I have read about this nurture and nature
Hmm.
theory. I actually read a whole book on it, a
Wow.
fiction book, not a not a psychologist book, a fiction book on it. And it just kept, it just kept me thinking about, can I change the inherent trait of, most often it's a negative trait, like, right?
Right.
Like, uh, let's just say it's just simple impatience, like, uh,
Hmm.
it's just so inherent, because maybe, yeah, by nature, no by nurture no by nature I got it,
Right.
and by nurture also I saw it.
Correct. So it has been
Yeah.
reinforced. I was
Yeah.
just getting to that. So
Yeah.
we see it working for our previous generation. And so we just kind of reinforce it and say, okay, this works. So I'm going to
Hmm.
keep it.
Hmm.
But this
Yeah.
has been so amazing, Pooja. I did not expect this conversation to be so much fun. I mean, I had so many questions on nutrition, but I did not expect it to be so sensorial. It was a treat. I mean, I'm going back with sounds and with feelings and with visuals, and even your mental first aid box was just such a delight. So thank you for sharing all this with our listeners, for sharing it with me personally. Thanks for taking the time out to be on Detangle. We wish you all the very best with all the ventures that you have in the future. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kinjal. It was, the pleasure was all mine.